I'm assuming that something is wrong with mine. This is the third time. If this goes out again, I'm just going to have to get another camera. I haven't been on a live in probably 6 months, but I wanted to get on here and talk about something that I saw on TikTok, which should, I'm not surprised because I work in corporate and I very much so dislike working with Black people in the office. It's the um, we as a people um, judge our esteem and accolades and achievements based off of how adjacent we are to Caucasians or the tasks or titles that they give us within their companies making peanuts. So I was watching a TikTok 2 days ago, and this lady said, Black woman said, admitted in the TikTok that she, along with obviously white people, that we know Caucasian people do this. There's statistics behind this, but she participates in discriminating against her own people for the quote unquote hood names. If you have a hood name, she's participating in striking your resume and looking past it. And then within that, uh, TikTok gave advice as to how to circumvent that if you have a hood name and it's not, Becky or, something Tammy, something very uh, tra- traditionally Caucasian, right? Um, that, maybe if you do have a more streamline, but we know what these words are, right? Streamline or normal middle name, to use your middle name as your, maybe do an initial. Say if your name was Watermelon Drea Ashley Jenkins, we'll put a W and then use Ashley and then Jenkins on your resume to circumvent that. Now, what people did not comprehend, it seemed like, all over her video, Black people now, her video, TikTok video, along with someone caught it on one of the blogs on Instagram. And what some of those people, Black people in Black History Month, seem to have missed, as far as understanding why people are upset. People are upset at her admitting to being a part of the problem. Okay. And people wanted to focus their attention on the fact that she gave some advice on what to do to circumvent that, and people just didn't understand. There was a lot of people like, well, it's just the way it is. We know that's the way it is. But why is it that when Black people get into positions of power, they uphold the status quo, if you will? They continue to perpetuate white supremacy. They take on the mindset of white supremacy, supremacist ways. The only reason why that is that white people, Caucasian companies do that is to discriminate solely, um, um, to not hire African American people, Black people. And in some cases, depending on the environment in HR, if they're Hispanic or if they're Muslim. Okay, it has nothing to do with the actual name having, being long or hard to pronounce, because there are people from Austria and German with German names that have a lot of consonants and, triple A Z. You're trying to vowels and you're just trying to figure out how to pronounce them. So it's not about that. It's about the fact that we have Black people that are getting into positions of power. And we see this on a lot of different levels. A lot of us who work in corporate, and even just, even if it's not a corporate setting, when we have to work with other Black people who are in positions of power, it could be Walmart, and, and you have a Black manager, there's always some issue. This Black person in their, it's like, oh yeah, Massa gave me I'm the, he got me in charge. Massa got me in charge, right? Just like, it just remnant of like how the attitude I would have supposed, like, if there was a black person that was the cracker, the person that was keeping the slaves in line on the in the plantation, in the fields. They gave that duty to keep them in line and making sure they was picking cotton like they want to, like they were supposed to, and things like that. So it just gives that off, and it's just, this is why I say a lot of people, we hear it among our Black elites and politicians and well-to-do people. We hear this, we hear that, hey, we need more politicians, we need more lawyers, we need more city council members, we need more, people in government and state and local government and federal government, and in order to make some changes. And I have always disagreed with that, because just for me working in corporate for 20 years, I know that first of all, a lot of it's not about how hard you work. A lot of times, when it comes to excelling and getting higher, titles and pay, a lot of times you get raises and jobs based on if the people who are higher doing the hiring act like you, or if you're friends with that person. Okay. It has, I see it all the time. I've seen people come in with no experience and be, the department manager's daughter's boyfriend, and get a job with no experience in the industry whatsoever. Okay. Or get, a leadership position who have no knowledge of the industry. So, so that's one thing. Another thing is that when they do put Black people in these positions of power, they often choose the ones, they think that they're old because they worked so hard. It's like, no, you were the one, most of the time. Now, doesn't happen all the time, but you were the one that was like a duck in water and let the waves roll off your back. What does that mean? Okay, you bit your tongue when there was things that were inappropriately said to you, that made you uncomfortable, things to do with identity, things to do with, you being a woman, or even a male, you being Black, things that you hear, things that you witness happening with other co-workers and your peers and on your peer level, and you just keep the status quo. Just like how we look at Black cops and how they don't, a lot of crooked things that are happening, and they don't speak out and say anything. They just keep their head down because they're just trying to make their money. It's kind of that same attitude, those are that's why we have the Daniel Camerons, okay, of the world, people like that, where they're looking out for themselves. Okay, they get to a point where they have to distance themselves from their Blackness as much as possible, and those that distance themselves the most from their Black identity and Black co-workers in the office are the ones that are usually let up the ladder, if you will. And a lot of times you're tested in a lot of ways. They test you in little ways. And a lot of times it's like I said, you'll be a witness of some things, especially when you're in management, people talk about people, you're in a room, they may say some things that, may not be okay. Yourself being a Black person, that they're probably only, that they picking on this person, or that person may have their attention because they're African American, but that this behavior or whatever's going on, it could be just something like, somebody having kids and can't work overtime or something like that, or whatever, some type of family situation, and you guys are talking about it, and that this has happened with Susie Q and Tom and John and them, and nothing's never said in the way that they're being said to you. So they do stuff like that to test you, to make sure that you are the Black person that is going to keep the status quo. And so again, and then she was just so proud. She got to be in her mid 40s, have to be in her mid 40s. Now, again, people wanted to focus on the fact that she was giving advice on how to get around if you do have a proudly Black sounding name, to how to get around that. And people were trying to use that like, oh, you guys are taking out of context. No, she called her own people's names hood. So that just lets me know where her mentality is as far as how she feels about her own people. She's one of those Black people that are still in the second place that believe all of those nasty things about their own people that have been spoon-fed to us on every news outlet, and every time we walk out our doors, in every way, shape, or form, that we are Black, we are the bottom caste of society, we are welfare, we're ghetto, we're loud, we're gangbangers, all of that just feeds into that. And I also tell you, she's also of the mindset of Black people in corporate that have been pushing right along with the white folks with regards to our hair. Okay, there were coasts along the way of us integrating into these white spaces of corporate and just white businesses. There were Black people that was co-signing the ignorance of that white people would come up with regards to Black hair. And how we, if it was a natural hairstyle, it was a problem. If it was dreads, it was for price. It wasn't professional. You have Black people still to this day that feel like that, and they are Gen X and up. And she's among that that crowd that still and varying, I'm not saying she in particular may feel that way. I'm just saying that she's a part of that group of people that are a detriment to us. This is why we will never get ahead, because the people that do get into a little position of something, they ignorant. They're just as racist or ignorant as white people. They're just as they believe the shit that white people say about us and think about us. So they Uncle Ruckus, they uphold the practices of white people in discriminating against their own people. And again, she made another video, because I went in on her little comments on her little TikTok, and so she made another video like, since y'all was so bothered or something like that, and here's some more tips, but she didn't understand it. So just for an example, there is another lady who happens to also be able to pass the paper bag test, if who I think is more polished, who would have said something like this right along with me working in HR, and every time I say something, there's things that I know with the things information that I pass on to my people. So this is how I would say it. I would say, I would have got on TikTok or whatever. I'd have said, what, hey, you guys, hey, my brothers and sisters, whatever. Hey, here's some tips on what to do with your resume, talking to African American people. Here's some tips what to do. In my experience in these environments, I've noticed that, we've had some issues with our resumes being denied and passed over, maybe throughout the statistics, because there is data that supported. I don't remember it, but it's something of like 60% of resumes that have a Black sounding name are denied. Here's what you can do to circumvent that. If your name sounds overly ethnic, or may sound may not be mainstream, or may not sound Caucasian, use your middle name as your first name. But she didn't say that. She said, here's some tips from HR. We in HR will see Black hood sounding names, and we mark those resumes. So here's what you can do. If you have a hood name, what you can do is use your middle name, and just write the initial of your first name dot your middle name and your last name. It was like, first of all, she admitted to discrimination, right? She admitted to discriminating, which is illegal. She admitted in video that is that she discriminates based off of a person's name on video. That's one. Two, she admitted that her company practices, the place that she works at, and everybody in HR discriminates against people based off of their names on their resume. And people just did not understand why, there was a lot of Black people, and again, during Black History Month, like, I feel like this is the time of revelations. Everything is coming, the veil is being lifted, we're just seeing everything. So she admitted these things, which are illegal to do now in the United States of America, on live. Very proud too, very proud. And then when people were like, oh, you need sensitivity training, there's a lot of millennials like, oh, you need sensitivity training, you need it's a certain type of training. They didn't say sensitivity training, they needed it's unconscious bias training or something like that, to that effect, which I have to take too every 6 months. I have to recertify for now. And I'm like, she doesn't need that. She's Black. She knows. We know. She knows. She knows. And I can't believe that she sat up here and admitted to helping to deny our resumes based off our name, not looking at our qualifications. This is what I'm saying. This is why we are our worst enemy. We are our worst enemy. And everybody's worried about the so-and-so, hood people in the hood killing shooting each other. The ones that are getting into these positions of power are the ones that's screwing us the most as a people, because they could do something and they don't. Even, I'm sorry to say it, Obama could have did a bunch of stuff at the end in his last 3 weeks, and he could have did a bunch of stuff that would have, if they would have, they couldn't do nothing about. And then when the next president came in, if they came in and rescinded all of that, it would have looked crazy. But, we always get people, the Daniel Camerons, he didn't even play like, that. He didn't even go through the motions of like, okay, we're going to charge them and we all know that they were going to get off anyway. You see what I'm saying? We have these types of people in every, lawyers, and we have a lot of people in every facet of, industry that are in these positions of power, and they're not helping us. They're working against us. Now, me being in HR, if I was a person in HR, I'm not looking at people's names. And if I would have saw that, I had a Watermelon Andrea or Lakeisha resume, I wouldn't even, I would have been like, boom, okay, this is a Black person. Let me really pay attention to this person's skill sets. And I'm glad that I got this resume to look at that come through, that I picked this one, and not my white coworker, because I know damn well they would have just put that shit in the trash or just rejected it immediately. So let me go through here. Let me look at this resume. Let me see the qualifications. Let me see what sister working with. Oh, she got a bachelor's degree. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, we need that. Okay, boom. What? How in the this how the audacity to even put that on video? Like, how comfortable are you and how comfortable are you around them white people that you forgot that that was not something you're supposed to be doing? Therefore, that shouldn't have been something you admitted on video to doing. So what else are y'all cackling about and saying? What other little things what are your minds? So do you let them, walk around and talk about, when one of us get killed by the police or something like that, you let them say stuff and you gag and giggle and shit too? Like, I'm trying to figure out. And like I said, there's so many Black people in corporate and then, different, that work in white settings that were coming to her defense. And I'm like, oh, but had this been a white person who had admitted to this on video or secretly had been recorded saying this and calling our names hood, we would be furious and we would want that person fired. But half of y'all in these comments are defending this. And somebody had the nerve to call her queen. Some brother, oh, well, you don't know. You don't, because you can't decipher the information this queen right here is trying to say. I'm like, if you don't shut the fuck up talking to me, I work in corporate, okay? I understand very well you motherfuckers that don't understand what is happening here, what she said. Y'all paying attention to the whole, what she said on the end. It was like a backhanded compliment type of deal. You know what I mean? Like, on one hand, she's giving out pertinent information, but that first shit that she said in the beginning of the video, she didn't need to say that. She should have just jumped on there like, okay, stories of HR. Here's some tips and tricks in HR. If you are worried about your resume being denied, use your middle name, We know we would have picked up on it. She didn't even have to go into explaining why she said what she said. She would have just been like, if you have problems, if you feel like you're going to have a problem with your name being displayed on a resume, if you feel any type of way about that, here's how you can rewrite it. We know we would have knew right away. We black, black people, we can look at each other and have a whole conversation. So we would have known, even if she would have said that, boom, oh, we already know she's talking about us. Okay, that's good. So Watermelon Drea just put W.A. Jenkins. Okay, boom, bam, that's all. Okay, boom, all right, I understand. Okay, got it. She didn't even have to say the first part. And there were even some people that actually work at HR. It was one person that commented on Instagram. I think Tina Shade posted it. And she said, I'm assuming the profile was a she. She was like, I work in HR. You're not even supposed to be looking in 2021. You're not even supposed to be looking at the names. And she threw out some acronym of something. You're supposed to be doing something, some acronym. You're not even supposed to be looking at names. So this is illegal. And she just admitted to doing something that is very illegal in 2021. We know that this happens. That's not the argument. The argument is, how dare you, black person? Why are black people helping? White people don't need no help. The system is already designed from school, from birth, really, to whoever you are born to. If you're born in a certain parents who with a certain level of finances, income, and wealth, you're already put in a certain caste system to and especially if you live in a certain area of a city or state, you're already put in a caste system. System is already set up from birth as far as what they're going to do with us and what they're doing to us from, like I said, depending on if you are, unfortunately, birthed into a family that don't have any wealth, you're going to live in low income areas. The schools are not going to be funded properly. Therefore, you're not going to get a decent education. And the curriculum will be school to prison pipeline. They already got it set up. It's all set up. It's a caste system. Then and it's 4 or 5 I want to say, when it comes to the education system, is at the bottom, it's a school to prison pipeline, then it's the working class, then it's the middle class, then it's the wealthy, then it's the elite, and they all have certain curriculum. So I mean, it's all it's set up from birth. The system is working fine. Attention, you black people who get in these positions. The system is doing okay. Okay, baby. The system doing what it do, baby. The system doing what it do. White folks don't need no help, boo. To you that be in the office trying to snitch and tell on black people, trying to, run behind black people and how many breaks they take and how long, if they a minute late and then they want to go run and tell the white folks and, trying to get people fired, trying to, be Stefan from the Django. Baby, they don't need no help, baby. The system work right just as fine, baby. They don't need no help. They don't need no help. They don't need no help. They're not going to give you no cookie. Okay, you're not going to get a nice pat on the head. Okay. And then, even if you're working, depending on where you're at in the country, because obviously, depending on, if you're in California, you probably make more. But, average, HR, what are you making? 65,000 annually? Are you jealous? What is it? Are you one of those black people who feel embarrassed? Oh, if it's I don't want too many black people up in here because I don't want them embarrassing me. And then, they do something and then I gotta, or they don't, they may be, maybe somebody that don't do their job right or not come to work. And then I don't want them embarrassed. Is that what it is? And, you don't want to hire no black people, so you don't want to be embarrassed as the black person, or have to be the black person to explain. You feel like you got to be the black person to explain all the other black people's behavior to the white people. Is that what it is? I'm trying to figure it out. You people that agree with her, that's looking past the fact that, that it was illegal and that she's black and she's upholding white supremacy by discriminating against her own people. Resume. Knowing the only reason why that was a practice was to get around the laws that had been created in the 60s with hiring. So that has, my daughter told me not to make TikToks. So I'm here on here. Okay. Running my mouth. So that's all I really wanted. I just needed to get it out, honey, because it don't make no sense. This is why I go to work and I mind my business. Okay. Y'all fake black people. It's so much bullshit when it comes to working with other black people in the office. It's just so much bullshit. I just mind my business. Okay. And you can run around and think that whatever you doing, working like a workhorse, that you're going to get any recognition. They just going to keep using you and using you and using you. They're not, you're not getting nowhere really. Okay. If there is a raise, what is it? $2, $3. Okay. It's not life changing. You're doing all that for $2, $3, maybe $5 annual raise, maybe doing all that. I can't believe it. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. This is why, like I said in the beginning of this video, this is why the whole system needs to be dismantled. It's not about, we can't just keep putting black people in places, as doctors and things like that, because they get into these particular positions and they act just like white people. Not all of them, but the fucking majority of them. And a lot of times we know, I ran into another TikTok. It was a black woman talking about how she can't stand working with other black people because we too damn messy. We too messy. And be ready to try to do some dirt or say some shit to get somebody fired, trying to fuck with their money. For no reason. Clicks and all that there. The system needs to be dismantled altogether. I hope that this video came through. I know a lot of times that no one says anything, so I don't know how the video quality is on this end, but it is what it is. It looks clear on my end. I don't know. No one says anything. So I hope it's not choppy, but that's my 2 cents and I'm finna go to bed. Sorry. Bye.